So we're on part 2 of tight and restricted hips, and I'm going to show you this skeleton. So what you've got to remember is the skeleton is just showing one design of the pelvis and one design of the bone structure. These bones wouldn't be like this unless this skeleton was on this stand. So actually what holds up the body, people always say, is the skeleton is the architecture of the body. Yes, it's the architecture, but it won't stay up without its surrounding structures and with all the systems. So you've got your fascia, your connective tissue, your digestive system, your lymphatic system, respiration. You need everything. Now on this particular skeleton, you can see, if I come closer here, that the femurs are more sideways. So I know straight away by looking at that skeleton, by the position of the acetabulum being more sideways, what the gait is going to be like. And I can also see clearly, because it's straight back at the bone, I can see very clearly that I've got a nice long neck there on the top of the femur bone, and the depth in the acetabulum is not too deep. And remember, this is really important and it does affect everybody. So majority of sports people that I teach tend to be compressed in their hips. And remember, we are attracted to sports according to our personality. So it's not always, but it tends to be more type A personality type, like more HIIT, more CrossFit, more, explosive things, more running and things like that. So over a period of time, for some people, the constant repetitive movement, and we see this in golfers, we see this in runners, we see this in footballers and rugby players, creates solidification in and around the structure and structures. So unless they are hypermobile, everything becomes very tight. So when they don't have optimal flexion extension, you end up flexed and over facilitated in the front of the body with a slight anterior tilt. So when I look, people actually aren't standing on their feet. What the aim is to get the back of the heel, which is the calcaneus, in line with the sit bones, which is your ischial tuberosities. You're actually standing up, and it takes me a long time to do this because I'm also very dominant in my quad and my flex sports. So I'm going to show you a movement now, which I do with clients. And this is great because if you're flexed in your hips, it's no good trying to force the body into the movement. The body has to be eased through stages, and the central nervous system has to be cheated. So I'm going to use this beautiful arc barrel here, and I'm going to take my hips over the barrel. I'm going to take my forearms to go down. So straight away, my flexed hips are supported. I'm going to curl the toes under and lift the knees off. So I'm not over facilitating now. The barrel is taking me away from the floor, and because I've come away from the floor, I've got more range of motion. And all I would do is lift one leg up and down with the foot dorsiflexed 8 to 10 times. Now, as I'm doing it, I want to think about the connection of the front of the ribs right down into the legs of the belly, into the pelvis. And I want to think of the back of the body reaching out from the crown of the head to the heel. This helps me to open the front of the head. I'm going to go on to the other leg now. That's it, up and down. And again, I don't expect everybody to have an arc barrel at home. I'm just showing you specifically targeted and intention and attention to direct movement to improve the quality of your hips. Okay, so I'm going to come off that barrel now. Just do a quick stretch back. I'm going to release the barrel. Now, this is where the problem comes. When I lie people prone, and again, this comes from infant development, a lot of people are compressed in the hips. The hips are sympathetic, and the tightness is there. So then all you're getting is facilitation through this thoracolumbar fascia and this lumbar spine. So this is what I do. You can roll up a towel, but I'm actually going to roll up this mat. Only a little bit because I don't want it too much. And then I'm going to lie myself back down, and the roll is under the front of the tightness of the hips. So it's in that crease of the hips where the top of the legs insert. Okay, take yourself to go down. Now then, I'd start with the leg flat and the toe pointed. Now when the toe is pointed, you feel more opening across the front of the hip, but less activation through the glutes. And I'm just going to do a few reps onto the other side. And then, of course, you can go into your swimming. And again, these exercises look simple, but the challenge of getting up and down on the floor can be really big. Now, what's going to happen if you can't get up and down on the floor? Well, there's always a modification. So I'm going to use the stability chair here, and I'm just going to create a little bit of room. And I'm going to do that exercise on the stability chair. So there's always something, a modification I can help you with. So the top of the pelvis here, I'm going to think about this ASIS being about 4 inches away from the front of the stability chair. My legs are going to go up. I'm going to press the bar down. And all I'm going to do is keep the carriage still with my upper body, or keep the step still. And I'm going to scissor those legs up and down, or swim them up and down. I'm hitting the skeleton a little bit here. Chin tucked in. And my challenge is to not load into the lower back and collapse. So that's a few variations, guys, for flex tips. So remember, we see it a lot in dominant sports. People who do a lot of spinning, people who do a lot of running, people who are dominant in the same pattern. So the idea in movement in life, whatever you're doing, you need to mix it up and try something totally different. Because what you tend to find when you do something different in one area of your life, it improves another area. So let me know what you think. If you can try it at home, what your experience is with your hips, and let me know how you get on. Enjoy.